This is a brief intro into power spread tennis using Roger Federer's match in the final in Halle against Goffin. Now, I was trying to make this video a while ago. I had some issues and copywriting stuff, so I think I've got a good video here to do now. I think it's just in time maybe for his match coming up. But win or lose tomorrow against Rafa and any more the rest of his career, Roger is doing more to change the strategic landscape of the game since Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi was a guy that learned to take the ball very quickly on the rise, what we call compact, powerful strokes. He was very compact, and he changed the game the way people did ground strokes and took the ball quicker and moved the ball around. A lot of it had to do with the new racket technology and the string technology enabling you to do this, but it was also the mindset of Agassi, the talent of Agassi, and also supposedly his dad was like smashing balls at him with a ball machine and he had to take it real quick or get overwhelmed. So that was the first thing Agassi did. Then later in his career, he made off-court regimen a real thing, training regimen. He became a beast on court physically from his off-court training. And that became Rafa Nadal later. And from Rafa to Djokovic to Murray and now everybody. So, Roger Federer was kind of the guy that started doing all the compact stuff, taking the ball quickly. And I'm being very general, of course. I mean, I'm sure people can throw up a bunch of names at me about all of this, but I'm just being in a general way. It was like Agassi, who really was known for that compact style, and then Federer took it, made it into something more, and everybody does it now. And then the training, the beast, the physicality of the sport. And then Rafa took that to another level, and of course Djokovic, Murray, and everybody who does so much off court. I believe now Roger Federer is recently, and I'm saying back to 2014, has been recently making the changes that are changing tennis again into a power spread, what I call PS tennis, which stands for power spread, a power spread version of aggressive variety. Now, what I mean by that is I started using the words power spread for American football back in the late 2000s with a buddy of mine and started a website, powerspread.net. Never really went fully with the site, but I do it for my work, my job for a long time. I was doing football before tennis for my job, I mean. And I would apply power spread, and the tenets of power spread are aggressive, flexible variety in space, time, and team. Now, one day you can go to my powerspread.net to see more on that, but one day I'll talk maybe more about that as it applies to tennis. But I used it for football, then basketball, and then I started seeing it could apply to many sports. The next one was really tennis. In the late 2013, I started talking to people about, boy, I think this could be a PS tennis thing. This could be something you can use it in tennis as well to spread the court, and manipulate the space. And of course, the court, the football field is always the same, obviously. But what I'm talking about, it's about the mind. It's all about the mind. It's all about the thoughts, the emotions, and those are dictated a lot first by talent and fit in the physical issues, who's injured, who's not. Of course, when you're not in a team sport, it's all about the injuries of that player. You have that, but then you have the strategic and the sense of space and how to manipulate space in the mind and make people feel squeezed on space, make yourself feel like you have more space. And the same with time. You make the other team or the other player feel squeezed on time, or you have more time. In football, you can line a bunch of wide receivers up on one side and sort of crush the offense on that side with strategy. Crush the defense and make them feel crushed in space and time by the strategies you employ on a football field. It's the same in tennis. So as I started to realize this in tennis, and that could be for tennis, immediately in January of 2014, Roger started doing it. Now, I am no way here to tell you I had anything to do with that. I don't know if it was just weird coincidence, but it's not like, and someone could say, well, you just started noticing it. No, Roger, because believe me, I was watching tennis a lot before that. I remember everything. I go over things a million times. Roger started to really employ more aggressive, more aggressive strategy, aggressive variety. And later he got a bigger racket, and that helped as well, or a different racket and whatever, a bigger frame. But the thing is, Roger would have to be the one to tell you, did he make a conscious change in January? Was it just a continuing progression? I know at one point he had Edberg in his corner as a coach, and he was doing the volleying more. There have been conscious changes for sure. I don't know how much of it was instinct as well, but whatever. I started seeing in January of 2014 Roger doing all kinds of variety. Power aggressive variety, and I started to say, I had a website then for the tennis, and I would put it on my website a lot. Anyways, and as we go along now, everybody's doing it. In the last 5 years, it went to another person. Rafa Nadal's have more aggressive variety. Smaller players like Kuznetsova has been doing more aggressive variety and doing better on grass because of it. It's just spread all over the sport. So that's the way I'm seeing it, and I can have more details about that in other videos. For now, and I can also say this, one thing about the tennis power spread that's a little different. Well, all sports are different, obviously, different rules, different type of sport, and a team sport like basketball and football are very different. But I base it on a order to chaos scale. High order or high chaos or somewhere in between. Basketball, and I can explain this another time, but basketball has more feel rhythm. It's more towards the chaos part of the spectrum, which is interesting because Nick Kyrgios loves basketball, and he plays tennis in a basketball sort of mentality, loose and free, and he does some genius stuff, but it's a little over aggressive for tennis many times. He loses his balance, so to speak. And I don't mean balance just in the feet, I mean balance in your mind and strategy. And then there's in the middle, I think football's more in the middle, and tennis is towards the high ordered part of because it's a very specific accuracy oriented sport with rackets and a very small space of which to work. So that's how I base all that. Okay, I'll talk more about that one day, but here we go. This is the first point I want to show here in this match. And Roger basically starts early in the match, nice wide serve, then a great return actually by Goffin right off the line, and Federer does a nice defense move here to get it back deep and keep Goffin back. And then Goffin has to just slice that because he got caught off guard by the good shot. But here's the interesting aggressive variety I'm talking about. Now, from this short shot, it looks like Roger's lining up probably for a cross court. And you can see Goffin up here is almost getting ready to go cross court. And Roger just unleashes a down the line aggressive backhand. No, you can see Goffin raced over to cover the cross court. Roger was lining up that like he was going to do that, and he just went down the line. Very quick, aggressive variety. He actually what I call also breaking tendency. The tendency in the taught idea is the safer shot going up and over the net here, as you see by the arrow. But Roger went down the line, totally surprised Goffin, and that's one like piece of aggressive variety that can happen. And it's more risky what Roger did. Goffin covered it, hit a nice passing shot, but Roger got the nice volley to finish it. But the bottom line is it was all set up by a quick decision to be more aggressive, take more of a risk, and go right at it. So that's one point. Then we have another one here. Get to the right. This is another interesting part of it. I'm going to try to show 3 different points here that show different parts of this aggressive variety. So in this one, again, this is pretty quick. And let's see what we got here. Okay, Roger, it's a nice serve. Goffin sort of faked him out, went into the body, so Roger was able to fight it off with a backhand slice deep. And then he goes back because it was a deep slice back at him by Goffin. So Roger goes with a nice backhand over the top backhand, gets back deep to Goffin right there, and sets up this. Now we think now with Goffin going backhand cross court, we're either going to go. Well, Roger's setting up for a slice right there, but we're either going to go backhand to backhand, crossed over the backhand, or slicing it. But either way, as Roger's setting up for a slice, what you expect is just back to the cross court and just get a rally going here and look for an opening. Right away, Roger, he does. Right, first he does that, that's expected. So Goffin's like, okay, great, comes in. And by the way, this is near the end of the match. He's now down a set and a break, so Goffin's got to be a little bit uptight, a little tense, pressure, scoreboard pressure, timing pressure too. It's later in the match. And Roger knows this. So he's going to go to some more of a defensive variety, what Paul Annacone likes to call variety to offense. And that's one way to put it. I like to just say everything's aggressive variety. I don't really want to focus much whether it's offense or defense. But in this case, Roger goes to the nice little slice back, nice little defense. We're getting in a rally. Here we go. So, whoa! I'm going to go slice that way. That brings Goffin up. He's already tense. If you look at his legs there as they come up, he's a little tense on the legs too because it's late in the match and he's down, and he ends up slicing this long. It was a real... Now, a lot of people would say That's a really bad slice by Goffin, and that's terrible that he would do that. But that was induced by Roger. Roger just shocked him right here. We get a little backhand, and then boom, I'm going to go right up the line here. And Goffin was not expecting that. And he comes up and hits it long. He's also tense because of the time in the match. And as you can hear, I'm in New York City. The construction never stops here. But anyways, yeah. So that's one thing. And then, so, and again, too, like Paul Annacone would call that variety to offense, but that wasn't like an offensive shot Roger did. That was just more aggressive variety. And he just did a nice little dink slice, and it threw Goffin all off balance. Roger maintained his balance, and Goffin was all off balance. And then the last thing I want to show is, again, we're looking like this is going to go into another slice mode. I don't think it's, no, it's right. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Yep. And bear with me with the construction in the background. Sorry about that. But Roger's in a slice mode here, right? No. Now look at this. That's a great forehand cross court. Inside out forehand. And the commentators went nuts on that. They're like, what a forehand. What an amazing... Well, let me tell you something. It was a great forehand, but the pros can do that today. These good pros with these good racket technology, they can do that forehand. It's not like Roger's the only one who can do that. But what's the great shot here isn't the forehand. First of all, good return by Goffin on the line. Roger slices it defensively, again, with the Paul Annacone variety defense. I like to call it aggressive defense, actually. I like to say that's aggressive defense. He gets it all the way back deep on Goffin. Now Goffin goes into the conservative mode, backhand cross court, and Roger suddenly unleashes a big backhand back at him. That is unexpected. Now Goffin's in trouble with that slice, and then boom, he leaves it short, and then Roger finishes it with the inside out. Now what's so amazing about that is you do not expect that in the time and space we're in right now. The space, especially the timing that we're in right now. And then Roger takes away all the space by doing that. So the timing of this event, not yet. Roger had a defensive slice there to stay in the point, okay? And then so Goffin's like, all right, we're going to be good. I'm good. I'm going to set up here and get ready to get into this point, get into the meat of it. And Roger's like, no, you don't. Bam! And just like that, Goffin's like, oh, crap. And then he hits it back like that, short, and then Roger finishes it. So again, that slice that Goffin made before that looked bad, and then that looks bad, then people kind of look and say, well, Goffin, that wasn't good. Or they look and say, what a forehand by Federer, but it's the setup. It's all this, that it's just what I like to say, aggressive variety. And again, these are deep concepts. I could talk forever about these as they apply to life or sport or whatever, but the ideas are simple. It's aggressive, flexible variety, utilizing space, time, and team. And when I say team, since this is not a team sport, it's an individual sport, that team equals talent. So it's mainly talent. Of course, there's a team behind the player as well. But on the court, it's the talent of that player more. And with that, it's a tennis, injuries are a big deal. The body's a big deal, how you feel in the body, because there's no substituting. Nobody's coming in for you if you're injured. So that's why I make a big deal about injuries to start. But once we're good on the body front, then we're talking a lot about the space-time, which is strategies, and then of course during the course of that you want to keep your balance so your emotions stay level. Nick Kyrgios is brilliant with space-time, but his emotions get out of whack because he gets out of balance, and then that goes whack. So that's where the physical to the mental to the emotional all comes in. So that's just a little beginning intro, and I hope will help a little bit.